Okay, let us get started. We are at the Mishnah, Daf Samachet Samad Aleph. Hamocher Sa'ir Mochar Batim Boroshichun Uma'aros Mirchatzos V'Shovchos Beis Habadim U'Beis Hashlachim. If a person sells an entire city, there are celebrities that own cities, you know.
In California, yeah.
Right.
They sold the Gush Katif to the Arabs.
Yeah, well, right, I guess so, yeah.
It's a for sale.
So if you sell a whole city, what's included in the sale? So the houses are included, the wells, the ditches, the caves, the bathhouses, the dove coops, the presses, any structure that has an olive press, right? And a beis hashlachim, it's a certain kind of real estate which the Gemara is going to define for us. Usually a beis hashlachim means an irrigated field. But as we'll see, the Gemara is going to offer a different interpretation. But avolois hametaltalim, what's not included in the sale is any chattel that's in the city. That is not included in the sale. However, ubizman she'amar lo hi v'chol ma shebesocha afilu haya ba behema va'avadim harei kulan mechurim. But if the stipulation of the sale was the city and all of its contents, so then even the animals and the servants are included in the sale. Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel Omer, Hamocher Sa'ir Mocher Sasantar. Rabbi Shimon Gamliel says that automatically when you sell a city without any stipulation, a santar is included in the sale. Now what is a santar? We'll see shortly. Let's take a look at the Gemara.
Santa Claus.
No. Amar le Rav Acha Berei de Rav Ivya le Rav Ashi. Shamas mina avda kimetaltal adami. Di'i kimekarka dami nizdabin agav masa. So the Gemara says, listen, it seems from the fact that when you make no stipulation explicitly, servants are not included in the sale. So that must indicate that in at least one respect, servants have a din of chattel, not as a din of real estate. Now we know that in many aspects of halacha, the Torah itself connects avadim, servants, to karka, to real estate, as far as the method of kinyan. But the Gemara is basically saying that as far as this halacha is concerned, avadim must have a din of chattel, because otherwise when you sell a city, any servant that lives in the city that is, I guess, employed or owned by the city municipality should be included in the sale. So the Gemara says, wait a minute, ve'elamai avdam kimitaltal adami? So then, ihachi, my afilu. So the Gemara says, I don't understand. So what are you going to suggest? That an eved is not like real estate, but it's more like chattel? Then I don't understand why, when the Mishnah is telling me that when you stipulate explicitly and all of its contents, then all chattel is included, even the chattel of avadim.
It's superfluous.
Even avadim. Now, it's not that it's superfluous. The issue is like this. An eved is not an extreme example of chattel. An eved is chattel. At the most, it's chattel. You see, an eved has certain aspects that make it similar to real estate. It has certain aspects that make it similar to chattel. But to say that all chattel, even servants, are included, that doesn't make any sense. Why would I think that an eved is more chattel than regular chattel? So, so that's that. The language doesn't make any sense. Elamai islach lemeimar, shiny bein metaltala denayid mi metaltala delonayid. So the Gemara's answer is, the issue of afilu is that even avadim and even behemos, what makes them exceptional, what makes them unusual, that to say that even they are included, is because they have locomotion. Animals and slaves move of their own volition. And so therefore there's a svara to say that when you're selling something that's inanimate and immobile, then things that volitionally move on their own are not included because they could always leave the premises. So that's the issue. And therefore, if that's the case, then afilu tema avdekim mekarka dummy, shiny bein mekarka denied la mekarka delonayid. And by that token, it's not an issue of distinguishing between real estate and chattel. What makes an eved exceptional is that he moves. It's irrelevant whether he's deemed to be chattel or real estate. The reason why he's not acquired when you sell a city or sell a piece of real estate is because he's not part of that deal, because he's locomotive, he's mobile. So it makes no difference. In other words, you can't infer from our Mishnah that an Eved has a din of metaltalin. It's not the fact that he has a din of metaltalin that does not make him acquired with the city, but rather because he's mobile. So therefore, you can't infer anything about his halachic status of chattel from our Mishnah. Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel Omer, HaMocher Sa'ir Mocher Sasanter. Now let's look at Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel. He says, you automatically, whenever you sell a city without any stipulation, the santar is always included. Now what's the santar? My santar. So Hacha Targimu Bar Mach Venisa, and Shimon ben Avtulmos Omer Bagi. There's a machlokus. In Bavel, they translate a santar as a bar mach venisa, which the Rashbam says, if you take a look at the Rashbam, he says, Eved ha-memuna lahagid ula'achvuye tchumei hasados shel mi zeh v'shel mi zeh. He says, and furthermore he says, v'hu eved l'sar ha'ir v'ef shel below osa. He says that this is a slave that is owned by the municipality that owns the city, the government. And the city really cannot function without him because he's the one who demarcates all of the borders of every single person who owns property within that city. Every person, every person's borders of their property. It's almost like the registry office, the guy who's in charge of the title searches and stuff like that. He's indispensable to the city, and therefore he's automatically included in the sale because if you buy a city, you cannot function that city without this person. Civil servant. Literally, yeah, right.
This
exactly.
says other commentaries say it's a city watchman.
Okay.
Which also makes more sense.
Okay, that's the Rabbeinu Chananel, but we're going to learn like the first pshat in the Rashbam. Now, Rab Shimon ben Avtulmos, however, in Eretz Yisrael says that it means not a human being, but rather it means bagi, which is a piece of real estate that is used for planting crops that is on the outskirts of the city. Okay, and it's contiguous with the city, but it's on the outskirts of the city, and that's why the Chachamim seem to say that that is not included in a sale, and Rav Shimon Gamliel says it is included in a sale. So man da Omar bar mach venisa kol shekain bagi, but man da Omar bagi vol bar mach venisa lo mizdabe. Now, if you hold that the definition of a santar is the civil servant, so then obviously real estate, which is inanimate, which is much closer to real estate, the fields are included in the sale. But if you hold that the definition of a santar is the fields on the outskirts, then they would hold that Rabbi Shimon Gamliel would agree that a servant is not included in the sale because he's not part of the city in that sense. So Tanan, let's look at our Mishnah. Beis Habadim u'Beis Hashlachim. What is included in a sale? The presses and the Beis Hashlachim. Now, what is a Beis Hashlachim? My shlachin bagi. So that's the initial svaruha. My shlachin bagim. Our initial thinking is that a Beis Hashlachim is any kind of field that is used to grow crops. As it says in Sefer Eov, that God sends forth rain to cover all exposed lands. So that seems to be that the word shlachim means any property that is used to grow crops. And so therefore, what is the Tanna Kama saying? That any fields, crop fields, are included in the sale. So Bishlam Alamanda Omar Bar Mach Venisa Omar Tanna Kama Bagi Mizdabni Bar Mach Venisa Lo Mizdabein V'Yasar Rabbi Shimon Gamliel L'Meimar Afilu Bar Mach Venisa Nami Mizdabein. Now, if you translate the word santar as a civil servant, so then it makes sense that there's a machlokus now between the Chachamim and Rabbi Shimon Gamliel. The Chachamim say that fields that are in the outskirts of the city are included in the sale, but a civil servant, because he's a human being and not an immobile property, is not included in the sale. Rabbi Shimon Gamliel comes along and says, no, even the civil servant is included because he's indispensable to the city. Elalamand Omar Bagi, Tanakama Nami Hachi Ka'omar. But wait a minute, but if you tell me that the definition of a santar is crop fields, then what's the machlokas between the Chacham and Shimon Gamliel? They're both saying that crop fields are included in the sale. So what's the machlokas? So the Gemara answers no. Nisavris my shlachin bagi lo, my shlachin ginu naisa. So the Gemara's answer is no. You've mistranslated the word shlachin. It doesn't mean a field that is dependent upon rain, but rather it means a park, an orchard. something that is planned by the city, like an orchard or a park where people stroll. That's what the Chachamim say is included in the sale because it's used by the members of the city for recreation. But a field that's used exclusively for agriculture, according to the Tanakama, is not included in the sale. Shenamar shalachayich pardes rimonim, as it says in Shir HaShirim, that which you send forth is an orchard of pomegranates, which implies that it's an orchard or park used for human habitation. Avol bagi lo mizdavni v'aser b'shem gamliel l'meimar afilu bagi nomi mizdavni. And that's where there's a machlokas. The Chachamim say that agricultural fields are not included in the sale, and Rabbi Shimon Gamliel, who holds that a santar, which we're now translating as fields, are included in the sale, says that crop fields are included in the sale. So Ikada Amri, others learned that the discussion went just in the opposite direction. Sivaru amai shlachin ginu niyasa. So the initial thinking is that the word shlachin of the Tanakama refers to parks and orchards. So Bishlam Lamanda Omer Bagi, Omer Tanakama Ginu Naisa Mizdabin, Bagi Lo Mizdabni, Va'asar B'Shimon Gamliel Lameimar Afilu Bagi Mizdabni. So if you learn that the Tanakama is saying that only parks are included in the sale, obviously he's distinguishing between different kinds of real estate, and therefore by implication he's suggesting that only things that are used for human habitation that are open fields are included in the sale, but agricultural fields are not included in the sale. And that's why Rabbi Shimon Gamliel comes along and says that a santar is included in the sale, meaning I'm directly disputing what the Chachamim say, and I hold that even crop fields are included in the sale. That's if you translate the word santar as bagi, as crop fields. Elalamando Omar Barmach Venisa, Amar Tanakama Ginunaisa, Mahadale Rishim Gamliel, Barmach Venisa, question mark. But it doesn't make any sense if you learn now that the translation of santar is a civil servant. Because here the Chachamim are making a distinction within different kinds of real estate, and comes along Rishim Gamliel and says, no, I disagree and I hold that a human being is included in the sale. The Chachamim were not even talking about that. They were talking about one kind of property versus another kind of property. So Rav Shimon Gamliel's response or rejoinder is not addressing what they were even talking about. So the Gemara says no. Misavris ma'ishlachin ginunais. Lo ma'ishlachin bagi d'chsiv shlech ma'amal pnei chutzas. Aval bar machvanisa lo mizdavim. V'asar Rav Shimon Gamliel lemeimar dafilu bar machvanisa nami mizdavim. So the Gemara says no. You're misreading the word beis hashlachin. It doesn't mean a specific kind of park or orchard. It means all different kinds of fields, including agricultural fields. That's what a beis hashlachin is. So therefore, the Tanakama's point of distinction is not between two different kinds of real estate, but rather is saying all real estate of the city is included in the sale to the exclusion of things that are not real estate, meaning civil servants. And that's why Shimon Gamliel's rejoinder is quite appropriate. He's saying that no, a santar, which now means a bar machvanisa, a civil servant, is included in the sale. Tashma. Let's look at a brisa. Rabbi Yehuda Omer santar eno machor an kulmos machor. So Rabbi Yehuda says that a santar, a sentry, is actually the word santar and sentry are very similar to each other, and that would make sense watchman, according to the way the Rabbeinu Hananel translates it as a watchman. But whether it's a watchman or the county recorder, the county registrar, they're indispensable to the city. But Rabbi Yehuda says they're not included in the sale. But an Ankulmus, who's the county recorder, he records all transactions and records all boundaries in the official ledgers of the government. He is considered to be part of the sale. My lav mida Ankulmus gavra santer nami gavra. So the Gemara says you can bring a raya from this brisa that Rabbi Yehuda is distinguishing between two different kinds of civil servants. Mm-hmm. One is a santer and one is an Ankulmus. So you see that a santer is a human being, not a piece of property like the other opinion. So the Gemara says, no, midi iria hakideisa v'hakideisa. Not necessarily so. The two words santar and ankulmus are two different terms for two different things that are included or excluded in the sale. Just because one is a human being doesn't mean that the other one is a human being. The other thing could be a piece of property, so you can't bring a raya from that. Umi matzis amar tachi. Now, wait a minute, says the Gemara. How could you even say that Rabbi Yehuda holds that a santar is not included in the sale? V'hakatani seifa avalo shiareha v'lo binoseha v'lo chorshin hamukatzin la, v'lo biborin shel chaya v'shel ofos v'shel dagim. So, not included in a sale, says the self-same brisa, is the shiyareha, binoseha, chorshin hamukatzin la, and biborin shel chaya, and habitats of wild animals, birds, and fish. Now, what are these other terms we're going to see in just a moment? V'yamrinan, my shiyareha. What does the word shiyareha mean? It means bizli, that Israeli snack. No, I'm just kidding. So the Gemara says, what is bizli? My bizli. So Amar Rabbi Abba, piski bagi, period. Bizli are piske bagi. Now, what does that mean? That means strips of land that are non-contiguous with the city itself. And that's the point that the Brisa is making. Non-contiguous strips of land that are on the outskirts of the city are not included in the sale. What does that imply? That piski bagi hudalo mizdabni, habagi atzmi mizdabni. That it's only because they're non-contiguous, because they're separated by either a body of water or some kind of rock formation. But it implies that if it's contiguous property that are fields, they are included in the sale. So if you're going to translate santar as bagi, as fields, how can in the first breath you say that a santar is not included in the sale, and in the seifa it's implied that a bagi is included in the sale? So the Gemara says, Epoch, you're right, you'd have to reverse the verbiage of the first part of the Brisa. And you read it as follows, Rabbi Yehuda Omer Santar Machor an Kulmus Eino Machor. The Rabbi Yehuda says that a santar is included in the sale, and here we're translating it as contiguous pieces of patches of agricultural property. That's included in the sale of the city. But an Ankulmus, who's the county recorder, he's not included in the sale. Now, Umi Matzis Amart Rabbi Yehuda Reb Shimon Gamliel Svirale. But wait a minute. Now we have a problem. You're now telling me that Rabbi Yehuda is paskening like Reb Shimon Gamliel that a santar is included in the sale. V'ha Rabbi Yehuda Kerabanan Svirale. But we know from the next part of the Brisa that Rabbi Yehuda paskins not like Reb Shimon Gamliel, but like the Chachamim, because the Ketani Seifa avalo shiyareha v'lo binoseha, that not included in the sale is the shiyareha, which we said is those non-contiguous patches of soil, and binoseha, which means, the Rashbam says the word binoseha means some kind of tributary. But what does it mean over here? It means if you have a cluster of homes that are on the outskirts of the city, it's he calls it a kfar, like a little village that's on the outskirts of the city, that's not included in the sale. Ve'ilu Reb Shimon Gamliel ha'amar machar sa'ir machar binoseha. And Reb Shimon Gamliel disagrees with that. There's another brisa that we'll see in just a moment that shows Reb Shimon Gamliel who says that the cluster of homes on the outskirts of the city is included in the sale. The Tanya hamocher sa'ir lo machar binoseha. Reb Shimon Gamliel omer hamocher sa'ir machar binoseha. So you have a stira. If you're telling me that according to the way you're reading the brisa now, Rabbi Yehuda says the santar is included in the sale, it means that he's holding like Rabbi Shimon Gamliel. And yet Rabbi Shimon Gamliel disagrees with the second statement of Rabbi Yehuda, which says that a cluster of homes on the outskirts of the city, according to Rabbi Shimon Gamliel, that is included in the sale, and now Rabbi Yehuda says it's not included in the sale. So how do you reconcile it? So the Gemara says that's not a problem. Rabbi Yehuda savarle kavase bechada, upalagale bechada. We have this all the time. Rabbi Yehuda is an independent Tana. He can pick and choose. He paskins like Rav Shimon Gamliel when it comes to a santar, which is a contiguous agricultural piece of property, the way we're translating it now. And in that respect, he paskins like Rav Shimon Gamliel, but an independent cluster of homes on the outskirts of the city, he holds is not included in the sale. Next, v'lo biborin shel chaya v'shel oifis v'shel dagim. Another thing that's not included according to this brisa were habitats, like forest area, that is meant for animals, like animal habitats for wild animals, for birds. A bird, what did they call it?
Sanctuary.
A bird sanctuary,
Aviary.
aviary or sanctuary,
Yeah.
or a fish aviary or a fish sanctuary, where you'd have, let's say, a pond on the outskirts of the city that is, like, say, a trout pond or something like that. So that's not included in the sale. So, Urmini, let's raise a contradiction. Hayula, Banos, Enim Karasimo. If there are these tributary clusters of homes, they're not included in the sale. But Hayula, Chelak Echad Beyam, Chelak Echad Beyabasha. However, if the city had one portion of the city on dry land and one portion of the city in the ocean, which sounds to me like there's like a peninsula that juts out from the city into a body of water, or biborim shel chai v'shel ovos v'shel dagim, or if it has these habitats or sanctuaries, harei elunim karimima, then they are included in the sale. So how can these two brises contradict each other? Is a habitat included or is it not included? So lo kasha hadin agiach ka'ihi legav, hadin agiach ka'ihi lebar. So the Gemara answers it's not a contradiction. When the sanctuary or habitat's entrance opens to the side of the city, so then it's included in the sale. In the previous brisa, the entrance to that habitat or sanctuary was away from the city, on the other side, and therefore it's clearly indicated from its logistics that it's not included in the sale. But wait a minute, v'hakatani v'lo es chorshen du mokatzin la. But 1 second, one of the things that's not included in the sale is a chorshen. Rashbam says a chorshen is a forest, and a forest, like a wildlife forest, even when it says hamukatzin la, that it's opens up to the city, that's also not included in the sale. So why are you telling me that just because the habitat opens to the city, it's included in the sale? So the Gemara answer is ema hamukatzin heimena. Mukatzin doesn't mean that it opens to the city, but it means hamukatzin heimena, that it opens up away from the city, and that's why it's not included in the sale. Bottom line is, any wildlife property or forest property that opens up to the city, where the entrance of the forest is facing the city, is included in the sale. Next Mishnah. We'll do the Mishnah and then we'll be done for the day. Hamocher es hasadeh, mocher es ha'avonim shehim l'tzorcha, ves hakanim shebekerem shehim l'tzorcha. When you sell a field, then included in that sale are the rocks or stones that are on the property, even though we said normally that metaltalin, that movable items, chattel, is not included in the sale, and these rocks are clearly movable, but since they're not meant to be moved because they're used in the sort of the landscaping of the property, so therefore they're considered to be part of the sale. And the same thing is if you have sticks that are on a vineyard, and those sticks are clearly indicated to be used for propping up the vines, so that's also included in the sale because they're not meant to be removed off the property. Also included in the sale is if I sell you a wheat field at a time when the crops are growing, you can't come to take delivery of the field the next day and I've harvested all the crops. The growing crops are considered to be part of the sale. This seems to me like a bamboo patch. There's a bamboo patch on the property of sticks of bamboo growing, so then as long as it's smaller than a base rova, which is a quarter of a certain acreage of a kav, so then it's considered to be tafel, to be secondary to the rest of the property, and it's considered to be part of the sale. Ves hashomira she'ena asuya betit, and if there's a watcher's hut. A lot of times crop fields had watchers to make sure that there weren't poachers or animals that would steal the grain. So they would make a hut, a makeshift hut has not been plastered properly, doesn't have any chashivos, any in self-importance, and therefore it's included in the sale. Furthermore, a young carob tree that is not yet being used for grafting because it hasn't grown sufficiently, or a young sycamore tree, a sapling, those are all considered to be ancillary to the field and are included in the sale. However, if rocks are on a property, on a field, that are not used for the landscaping of the field, and if the sticks are on a property and are not being used to prop up the vines, so those are not included in the sale because they're metaltalin that are meant to be moved off the field. And furthermore, if the crops have already been harvested and they're just lying on the field, that's also not included in the sale. However, that's only if nothing else was stipulated. But if the stipulation of the agreement was, I sell you the field and all its contents, then even the non-necessary rocks and sticks and even the harvested sheaves of wheat are included in the sale. But even with that stipulation, not included in the sale are plots of property that are in their own chashuv enough, important enough to be viewed as distinct properties, distinct from the field. So what are two examples? One is a patch of bamboo that's larger than a rova of this acreage, and a hut that has been plastered over to show some sense of permanence. So it's like a house, and therefore it's not included in the sale of the field. Velo es achruv hamorkav, nor a mature carob tree that is used for grafting. Velo es sadana shikma, nor a mature sycamore tree that already has significant roots and branches such that it's considered to be a tall, distinct kind of growth. So those are not included in the sale of the field. This is where we'll hold it for today. I wish you a guten Erev Shabbos. Take care.